She is going to help us with stress. Come on, we're all feeling at least a little bit of stress right now. So I am so excited. And that's not all she talks about. She talks about so many things that are going to be so helpful for everyone, no matter where you are in life right now. And I'm going to read her bio in just a moment. But for those of you that don't know who I am, I'm Marla Press. I'm the founder of Speakers on Fire Academy and the developer of Expressive Intelligence. We can talk all day about that. That is something we need in the world. But let's just say for now, I really help speakers and anyone who wants to communicate better to create a message so that you don't get confusion or resistance. And if you want to be on a stage, if you have a business, then you can really wow your audience with it and create the results that you want in the world and change lives. So I'm going to read your bio, Kate, but then I want you to tell us about yourself personally, because I know bios can be a little stiff, but you have such a great bio that I want everyone to know about what you do. So I'm going to, let's see if I can switch it over here for a moment. So Kay Miller is the Harmony Coach. Come on. Trained in mental fitness, holistic health, genetics, and human design. She's a homeschooling mother of five. And wow, I have to hear about that too. And a serial entrepreneur. She guides high performing women through a customized healing process that helps restore energy, clarity, and joy. Her signature approach, the Harmony Principle, began with a single pause that transformed her health without extremes. Kay is on a mission to create generational health. So I want to hear about that too, Kay. That sounds really interesting. By helping women stop fighting their biology and start flowing with it. Her work supports simple, sustainable shifts in nourishment, stress, and self-perception that naturally ripple into homes, relationships, and children's future. With her women who heal with her parent more intentionally, lead more clearly, and raise healthier, happier families. Known for her intuitive insight and science-backed tools, Kay helps women reconnect with their natural rhythms and remember that harmony is health. And I imagine, Kay, you work mostly with women, but this applies to men also. And I just want to say, if there's any men listening out there, that we want to hear from you too. Leave a comment. We'll respond to your comments now. Or if, like a lot of you will be watching the replay, we will also respond to those comments or questions. So we invite you to participate. All right, Kay, we'd love to hear, how did you get to this place of harmony is health?
Yeah, definitely. So, like it says in my bio, it started with a pause. I was having some health issues. I've had them for most of my life, and I was almost 40 years old. And finally realized that what I really needed to do was kind of stop all the things that I was doing to try and improve my health. I had done everything. I'd gone vegan. I was working out 2 times a day. I was lifting weights. I was trying to get all the protein in, doing the protein shakes, and just really trying to optimize my health. And it turned out that none of it was really working because my nervous system was out of balance. So I was in this constant state of fight or flight. And so if you know anything about your cortisol levels and your insulin and your hormones and all those things kind of need to be able to work the way they're supposed to. And if your body's like, we need to run from a bear all the time, it doesn't care about releasing the weight that you're trying to release while you're going to the gym 2 times a day. So it kind of
Yeah.
started there. It wasn't easy for me to figure out that that's what I was doing wrong, quote unquote. But once I did realize that, I went ahead and made some changes to my health, and I started learning more about health and what the underlying principles are, not just eating, brown rice and whole wheat bread and meat and veggies like my mom taught me, which was great. It was a wonderful, what would you call it, foundation that I had to health and well being in life, but really just understanding how our bodies actually are able to process these things so that no matter what you're eating and that you're able to actually digest it and your body's actually able to use it properly. So that's pretty much how it started. And then throughout the course of being a health coach and working with several people and then traveling overseas, I realized that while I was traveling, I did something different and my health started to kind of
Mm.
go back again. I started to get tired and started to feel a little brain foggy again. And I was like, what's going on? What did I change? What did I do different? And that's when I realized how important circadian rhythms are. And so that's why I'm the harmony coach, because we focus on circadian, ultradian, and infradian rhythms, along with, what we're eating and how we're sleeping and getting proper nutrition and hydration. But we also look at when and how we're doing these things to make sure our bodies are able to produce what it needs to produce.
Well, that is so interesting. And yeah, I need you because my rhythms are definitely a little wacko. Uh, I'm just an extreme night owl, and I know that that's not ideal, but it's so natural for me. But you mentioned besides circadian rhythm, you mentioned a bunch of other rhythms. Can you explain
Mhm.
a little more about what that is for those people that may not know that?
Yeah, so a lot of people, circadian rhythm is becoming one of those buzzwords. So people are getting used to hearing it, understanding that we have this clock that cycles with the sun, the moon, and things like that. And so that sunlight first thing in the morning definitely helps our bodies to go to bed at night. So it helps to produce the melatonin at the right time. So that one is the one that's the most popular, most well known as far as those different names. But the other rhythms that I mentioned, one of them basically is our monthly cycle for women, 28 days, or the moon cycle. If you're no longer cycling, if you've already gone into menopause, you can kind of follow that moon cycle. And it kind of affects, well, not kind of, but it affects our hormones, as we all know as women. And that's why I do cater towards women, but I do work with a few good men as well. So we work on that rhythm and making sure that women are aware of what's happening with their hormones during those different peaks and valleys of estrogen and progesterone and, the um, testosterone, and making sure that we're taking use of those and benefiting from when we do have the spikes and the lows, realizing that maybe for some of us, we might need a little bit more rest in those times, and realizing that that's why we may get a little bit more irritable or a little bit more moody, not as an excuse to not do things, but as a way to understand ourselves, to give us the proper support we need during those times if that is true for us, because it's not true for everyone. We don't all have the same kind of PMS kind of things going on, and a lot of that can actually also be adjusted and mitigated by improving our health. So, getting the proper sleep and hydration and nourishment beforehand can actually help with some of those symptoms that a lot of women deal with. And then the last one I mentioned was the daily cycle that all of us have as well. And that's where you may notice, if you really start paying attention to your energy and things throughout the day, that you maybe have a time about 90 minutes earlier in your day where you're like, I'm on fire. I could do anything. I could save the world right now. And then you kind of mellow out and you're still able to do things, but you're not like peak firing. And then a little later in the day, you maybe have another one of those. It's another little 90-minute sprint. And it's like, oh, yeah, let's do everything. Let's clean the house. And that's what happens to a lot of us night owls, because I was a diehard night owl. Mine would come at around 10 or 11 at night. And it's like, let's clean the house. Let's build empires. Let's create a whole new program. And next thing you know, it's 1 a.m. so
Yep, can
so
relate.
wonder
Yes.
yeah, so finding those different rhythms for ourselves and seeing how we can benefit from them and capitalize from them. What things can we put in what places so that we're getting the most out of our body when it's clear, when it's energized, when it's ready to go. So hopefully that broke those down a little for you.
Yeah, thanks so much. Because I think that's really important that we're not always conscious of those rhythms, and hormones are a very complex subject. Doctors and hormone specialists don't even totally understand them because they're complex, and it's
Very.
really really helpful to know as much as you can about them, and certainly to be more conscious and aware of these things. So what does moving in harmony actually look like?
Yeah. So for me, moving in harmony is understanding how your body is functioning, because we're all different. It's the same thing like
Yeah.
people try to say, oh, what's the best diet? I can't give you a best harmony pattern or rhythm, just like I can't give you a best diet,
Mm.
because we all eat differently and we're all constantly changing. So, like, if you think about your diet and your sleep schedule and all of those things, they've definitely changed since you were a baby. At least I hope they have, Marla.
Nope. Not a drop. Nope,
Nope,
not
nope.
for me.
If you're still sleeping the same and eating the same way you were when you were a baby, an infant, when you were a 9-year-old, when you were a 19-year-old, you probably might want to reassess those things and pay attention more to what your body's actually needing or desiring of you, what supports your brain and your body best. So that's how living in harmony works. Usually with my clients, we start with just keeping track of how you feel currently, how you feel for a few days or for a few weeks. Usually, for women, you want to go and look at a couple months over time. You want to keep looking because we do have those cycles throughout the month. But at least in the beginning, just a few days and tracking, hey, I feel good right now. I have energy. I can do whatever I need to do. I'm feeling a little tired right now. I kind of went and got the coffee or I ate some candy or something as a pick me up. I'm feeling a little down. My mood's not great. And there's nothing wrong, but I just meh, feeling a little, so,
Yeah.
keeping track of those things can help you to see how your body is relating to the world. And that can be connected to your hormones. It can be connected to your cortisol levels. It can be connected to the sunlight you're getting or not getting, and all those different things. So just really start with where you are and then where you want to be. And where you want to be would be what I'm considering living in harmony. And that's a place where you're flowing more naturally and in sync with what your body needs and wants. So instead of pushing through, trying to hit those deadlines and get this thing done, you scheduled your life in a way that you worked on that deadline thing during that peak time of your day, where you had the most energy to put towards that harder task and to work towards getting it done instead of waiting until the last minute when you're exhausted and you ran out because you didn't want to do it. And so you just kept pushing it off and pushing it off. And then by the time you get to it, you have no energy to really work on it when you could have just knocked it out in 90 minutes or so, or in
Yeah.
a few 90-minute increments throughout the
I'm
week.
noticing a real theme here. It's really awareness, number one, whether it's, about your diet and how different things in your diet make you feel, or whether it's about your rhythms, that is really important because we're all so busy. We're like, our minds just going a million miles a minute, and people are busier than ever, it seems.
Mhm.
And so it's sometimes you really have to pause and slow down and bring it into your consciousness and then make note of it. And then it sounds like it's really a partnership with
Mhm.
you and your clients, so that you need them to have that awareness, and then you can give them some solutions. So I think that's a really important point to, just bring out, that can really make a difference, as opposed to, you go to a doctor or a nutritionist and you just want them to fix you, right? So this is a real partnership. And I think, we need people like you to really, help us understand what we're bringing into our awareness. So
Mhm,
that's really
definitely, and
important.
there's no fixing here because 'cause you're not broken, we're just unaware.
Oh,
That
yes,
whole
I love
awareness
that.
part, like you were
Yeah,
saying, we're
yeah.
just unaware that these things even exist, and we're just used to living in this 9 to 5 kind of society, which is great, by the way, for most men. For most men, because you have a 24-hour hormonal cycle, our 9 to 5 cycle of work and getting things done usually works a lot better for them than it does for women, unfortunately.
I was going to ask you, so why do women tend to burn out even more than men?
Mhm. Definitely. Women usually tend to burn out more than men, like I just said, because we are on more of a 28-day cycle with our hormones.
Mm.
So, over a 28-day period, our hormones actually, our testosterone drops so low that a man never would even experience that in their whole lifetime. Usually, how low ours drop from our peak to our bottom during our cycle. But
Yeah.
throughout their day, they do have their ups and downs. They have their cycle of hormones and everything like that, but it's all in that 24-hour period. And that's why they can wake up and do it all over again, and wake up and do it all over again. And for us, it's like, okay, we've got like a 3 or 4 day window where we're like, I feel amazing. I look amazing. I'm the best person on earth. And then it's like, oh, okay. And all downhill from here. And then it's like, we go through all the different cycles of our testosterone and progesterone and everything leaving. And then it starts coming back. And, it's just this almost a roller coaster, but it doesn't have to be a bad roller coaster. And for some women, it is because of the different things they're doing in their daily life, as far as what they're eating, even what they're putting on their skin, things that may affect how their hormones are working, and not getting the proper sleep. and all of those things. So then it makes it even more dramatic, I guess you could say, those changes with their hormones. Where for men, not so much. Lucky guys.
Yeah. Well, they have other issues, let's just say.
Oh,
But
yeah, we've all got them.
so, what would be some small shifts that people could do to really have that ripple effect?
Yeah, some very small shifts, especially if you are a night owl, like I was, and like you said, you are, is to pay attention to what time you're getting up in the morning. So if you can get up in the morning at the same time every day, which most
Mm,
of us don't like to do, we're like, oh, it's the weekend, I get to sleep in,
yeah.
and all of that great stuff. If you can get up at the same time every morning and take some time to actually get sunlight in your eyes. I know, yeah, we're supposed to wear sunglasses, we're supposed to wear sunblock, we're supposed to hide from the sun. It's bad, it's terrible, but really our bodies need it. I like to think of us like we are nature, just like plants, just like the other animals outside. We all need that sunlight to help us to grow, to change, for our hormones and things to know what to do. So the reasoning behind this, as far as I understand it, because I'm not a doctor, but as far as I understand it, that sunlight that we get in our eyes first thing in the morning actually tells our body 8 or so hours from now, I need you to be making melatonin so I can go to sleep. So if we're getting up at all these different times in the morning, then we're going to go to bed all kinds of different times at night, and we're going to have a hard time sleeping and all of those other issues that go with not having good sleep hygiene. So if you can just change that one little thing to get up at the same time and to get a little bit of sunlight in your eyes, it could be 5 minutes or less, just looking towards wherever the sunrise is in your area. And for those of us that are night owls, hopefully you're at least getting up around 10 in the morning at the latest, because that still allows you to get that sunlight in your eyes, because around 11 noon, depending on where you are, the UVA UVB rays change, so then you're getting more of an afternoon sun, and that's a different thing that's really good for producing vitamin D and all those kind of things, as far as I understand. And then there's the sunset, which then of course is also another signal to your body that, hey, it's time to start relaxing and preparing for sleep. But that first one in the morning and keeping it consistent is a good place to start.
Yeah, it's interesting because, I've always heard you want to, like open the curtains, be in a light room, but you're saying actually like almost look into the sun to really have it in your eyes, not just be in the room with you.
Yeah, if you can step out on a balcony or if you can open a window and look out, having it in the room is a great start, but it really just depends on your room. I was doing research recently on like our windows, and a lot of us have double pane windows and all
Yeah.
of these things, and it's blocking out certain rays. So the rays are not even getting into your house. It looks like sunlight, but your body's not processing it as sunlight. You actually need the real all the rays with nothing blocked out of it, from what I understand.
I learned something new.
Yeah.
Did
Yay,
not
that's
know
what we're
that.
here for.
Yeah, I mean, because yeah, we're told don't ever look at the sun directly. So,
Yeah,
and of
yeah,
course, if you're looking through a window, it's different than if you're, really staring at the sun. But
yeah.
yeah,
I
very
don't think you
interesting.
wanna stare at it, hopefully. I don't know if that's good for your
No,
eyesight.
that's
Don't
not what
ruin your
you're
eyes, but
recommending. Not what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
recommending. Yeah. So,
Definitely get out there.
yeah. And so, how do you help your clients follow through? Because I think a lot of coaches, they have great information,
Mhm.
but again, where people are so busy, they don't always implement. And especially when it comes to, habits they've had for a long time, how do you help them with the implementation and following through?
Really, that's one of my favorite parts. So, what I love is, as a mental fitness coach, I went through a program with a company called Positive Intelligence. So, I love it because it's close to your expressive intelligence. And what we do when we start off with a client, before you're even a client, one of the first things I do with you is have you take a saboteur assessment. And it helps you to see some of the different ways that you may be sabotaging yourself. A hyperachiever, a people pleaser, maybe you're always judging, or you're a perfectionist or a victim. There's like all these different little things that it could say that fall into your profile, and it'll give you your top three. And so, what we do is we look at those top three and we find the ways to help you realize when you are going into that mode. Because each of these, the judge, the saboteur, the victim, whatever they are, it's just like the yin and yang of everything else in life. It has the bad part that you don't want, but it also has the part that you can use kind of as your superpower. So we
Right.
help you to realize when you're going into those modes and be able to use it for your benefit. And so doing that really helps with your mindset. And once your mindset is right, it's so much easier to follow and do new things that you want to do and achieve for yourself and improve your habits. And another thing that I love to do with an actual client is we work on why. Why are you actually trying to change this thing that you want to change?
Yeah.
And do you really want to change it? And what is underneath it? Because for a lot of us, we may say, oh, I want to lose weight. I need to lose 10 pounds. It's never about the 10 pounds. It's about love. It's about acceptance. It's about so many other things usually. And getting to that for a lot of people is so eye opening that it really anchors it within your being to where it becomes so much more than just I'm trying to lose weight, I'm trying to lose 5 pounds to wear a bikini. you know and then we connect that to something usually visual in your home, so that every time you
Mm.
see that thing, it kind of helps you to remind you. Sometimes people will wear a bracelet or something, some kind of cue, visually, auditory, a song, a ringtone on their phone. Just we find little things that help you to kind of really anchor in that habit and that reason for why you're making these changes, and just remembering what you get to do instead of always thinking about, oh, I can't do this anymore, I can't do that anymore, I got to change this. It's I
Yes.
get to get up in the morning and look at the sun. I get to enjoy a sunrise. I get to have fresh water every morning, like just kind of reframing things. And it really, really helps. It sounds so simple because it is simple, but it's profound in the changes that it allows us to make as humans.
I love this. Oh my gosh. You are a fantastic coach. Everyone should connect with Kay because this is amazing. My background is in psychology. And so I bring a lot of psychology into my speaker coaching because it's everything. I mean,
Mhm.
yes, people sabotage themselves. They feel like they're not good enough. They worry about how they look, all those things. And they don't focus on the why, they focus on the negative.
Mhm.
And I don't know if you use NLP, but that's a real NLP thing also, to anchor whatever we want to be able to, really make a difference in our lives. If we anchor it in our body or anchor it in one of the modalities, like you said, it could be auditory, it could be visual, then
Mhm.
that really sticks versus just, we're up in this head energy and we're trying to like do a million things and we have this long to-do list. It's not as effective. And focusing on our why, that's so important for business. What is our why? And it's also important, we don't talk about it enough, our personal life. What is our
Mhm.
why for doing what we do? So I love everything you just said. That's huge. And I'm so glad to have spoken with you today. This is great information for everybody. I know you have a free gift to give that people can connect with you more. Let me just put that um,
Yeah.
on the screen here in a second. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's actually the harmony tuning kit. So it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that. So once you go ahead and sign up for that and get your information in, what you'll get from me is access to our natural rhythms quiz. And that's actually a little quiz where you'll be able to see, am I kind of out of rhythm with my sleep or my hydration, or where am I kind of maybe have a blind spot that I need to adjust? And then you'll also have access. It takes a little bit longer. I have to get your email and stuff into the system, but you'll get that saboteur assessment I was talking about as well. And then you will also have access to me for a Harmony Blueprint session where we'll go over all of the details of these assessments that you've taken and be able to discuss whatever it is that you're dealing with that you think you would like help with, so that you can increase your capacity to do all the things that you're trying to do in your life and improve your health.
Oh, I love that. That is so important. So right down there, you'll see it scrolling by, and you can't click on it, but you can definitely copy it, and it's pretty easy. You want to connect with Kay. She is amazing. Is there anything else, Kay, that we didn't talk about that you want to bring up, or any last words for people
Hmm.
listening today?
Everything, everything. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, yeah.
There's always so much. But definitely, I think the sleep was really one of the most important
Mm.
ones. That was the one that changed my life so drastically, so quickly, so easily. So just really focusing on that, it has profound changes on the human everything from how we think to how we relate to our moods, our energy. So if people can take that with them, that's probably my best tip for today. And I look forward to having a chat with whoever watches this and would like some assistance and going through the results with you and seeing where you're at and where we can go to.
Thank you so much, Kay. This is so important. I mean, all of us, health, we either have it or we don't, as far as optimal health. Excuse me, as I lose my voice. And
No, no.
but this is, people, especially I find a lot of entrepreneurs are trying to wear so many hats and do so much with their personal life and their businesses. And it can be exhausting. And
Mhm.
sometimes we don't know our health is slipping away before it does. And
Mhm.
it's really, really important to bring that awareness in, have some knowledge, have some skills, and focus on it on a daily basis. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourself so that you can take care and help others. This is so important. And I feel like in our world right now, almost everybody has this at least low level, if not high level, of anxiety and stress. So
Mhm.
take care of yourself and connect with Kay. And thank you so much for tuning in. We love to hear your comments when you watch the replay, and we would love to reach out to you. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me, Marla.
Thank you.